Well, at it again. Somehow, some way, the football gods, Santa, whoever you want to call it, decided to give us a gift. The gift of still being able to talk about making the playoffs after losing every game in the month of December.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance. You know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother. Hey.
And here we now I don't know what's going on. And I'm not gonna question, what I'm saying, what is it, the gift horse in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna take it, look at it, and see if the Jets have what it takes to actually handle business. Now, granted, regardless of all the gifts we've been given, the Jets are not in control of their destiny. Not this time. They still have to go ahead and not only win out, but hope for the Patriots to take a loss this week, whether it's against the Patriots or whether it's against the Bills next week. Um, I'm sorry, whether it's against the Dolphins or the Bills next week, the Patriots have to take a loss, and I believe that's going to happen. I don't think Kansas City is going to lose to the Denver Broncos, which would in essence put um, the Buffalo Bills number one in the AFC. I think they're going to have to play it all the way to the end this year in order for them to get that number one seed in the AFC. With that said, the Patriots should lose one of the next two, which means the Jets win out and they're in. It's literally that simple. Win out and we're in. Patriots take one loss. Win out and Patriots take one loss and we're in. So how do I feel about it? Well, we're playing against the Seattle Seahawks this weekend. So on Sunday, the New York Jets go up against the Seahawks. And I got to tell you, they also are on a skid. And when you look at that roster and you look at that team, you see a lot of similarities, right? A team with, a mid quarterback. In this case, we're going to have Mike White playing, not Zach Wilson. So I feel the quarterback kind of equal out in terms of efficiency, um, ability, etc., however you want to look at it. And then you have the defensive matchup in which they're a bottom 20, bottom 10 defense in the NFL, and we're a top five defense in the NFL, which I think is a huge difference in disparity. Now, they are going to be limited in terms of their running game. Walker has been struggling right now with some injuries. He's been limited. He did not practice today or yesterday. He's supposed to be limited tomorrow in practice, but the Seahawks right now are going through a plethora of injuries, right? So the latest injury report shows those guys are battling it out. We're going to be without Jeff Smith, and I think Eccles is out as well for us. So going into this game, I feel good about our chances, predominantly because Mike White is the quarterback. I understand, you understand that this team seems to rally around Mike White, not so much against Zach Wilson. That game against the Jaguars, that was I don't I don't I don't have any words for it. It was bad. It was very bad. Trevor Lawrence looking every bit the franchise quarterback, and I do believe that Zach Wilson has proven that a franchise quarterback he is not. Maybe perhaps he'll be able to go ahead and become a starter at some point in the league. I don't know if that means he's going to be a starter here in New York. I just don't see him having the mentality for it. You see a lot of individuals who are part of the Zach Wilson fan base, the Zach truthers, so to speak, talking about how, oh, well, so nobody can succeed here because when the fans are booing them, like blah blah blah. That just to me just shows that if that's the case, if Zach Wilson getting booed by fans is why he can't do his job as a professional, then he's not meant for the bigger markets. Okay. This is a weakness. It's not something for you to be proud of. And I think this generation of like, woe is me feelings and blah, blah, blah has normalized the fact that this is a guy who plays a professional sport, gets paid millions of dollars to do so, has done so very, very poorly at this level. And you're telling me the reason why he can't perform is because we hurt his feelings by booing at him. That's pathetic on so many levels. And if that's the reason why Zach Wilson can't play football in the NFL, then good riddance. He's got to go. So he can go and try to play somewhere else, maybe the XFL, Canadian Football League, whatever. Or this kid can get his head out of his ass, figure out how to read a defense, understand how to make his lower body speak to his upper body. The guy has tremendous arm strength, tremendous arm talent, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't work up here. Mentally speaking, if it doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. I don't believe he's off the team. A lot of people think he should be kicked off the team, that he's going to be no longer a New York Jet next year. Highly undoubted. I highly doubt that's the case. He's on a rookie contract going into year 3. He hasn't shown enough value, I believe, that a team would want to go ahead and trade for him and absorb that contract and liability. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a team wanting to give him a chance because he does make incredible plays. They come far and few in between, but he does make throws and does make plays every now and again that you're like, man, that was very, Patrick Mahomes like, Josh Allen like, Aaron Rodgers like. He does it in little spurts, not enough for you to sit there and think he can consistently put it all together. But maybe there's a coach out there that believes he has what it takes to go ahead and reel in Zach Wilson and really maximize his strengths. I just don't know if that coach is on our staff. I don't know if we have the ability to do so. However, I do believe next year he's on this team, QB3 at the highest level. The Jets have to do some work, and I think some veteran quarterback play is going to be needed, whether it's Mike White and another veteran batting it out for QB1. I've been very, very vocal about wanting to see Gardner Minshew versus Mike White in the QB battle. And then whoever wins that's QB1, who loses it's QB2. And then Zach Wilson could be QB3. Maybe a year sitting on the bench, just watching, absorbing, could reboot his confidence, reboot his mechanics, and he comes back, year 4 because somebody gets hurt or something, and he's able to perform and earn his way back into the NFL. But for now, the kid looks like he might be a bust. And I use that term very, very hesitantly because, again, I know it's only been 2 years, but we haven't seen enough from this kid that shows or says he can be a franchise quarterback. And when you're drafted with the number 2 overall pick, the only reason you're drafted that high is because expectations are you're going to be a franchise quarterback. Zach Wilson is not that guy. So ultimately, this week, we get to see Mike White in action. And I think Mike White over these next 2 games can solidify whether or not he's a guy we bring on long term. Win out, Patriots are going to lose one of these next 2, and we're in the playoffs. First time in 11 years. When you look at the Seahawks team, you're looking at a team who needs the running game to work for that offense to operate fully. They're also on a losing skid right now. I like the matchup between Tyler Lockett and DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner and freaking DK Metcalf. I think being able to eliminate those 2 individuals is going to go a long way in limiting that offense. If Walker is a no-go, that's a plus. That's a huge plus, right? It allows this defensive line to get after the quarterback, get after Geno Smith. It's just one of those games where the defense should have a field day, and our offense should be able to operate under Mike White. I don't think anybody can really guard Garrett Wilson on that team, not consistently. Corey Davis is back, which is great. We saw Denzel Mims practicing, so hopefully he's through the concussion protocol. And Elijah Moore is still a factor on this team. Now, you also incorporate that with, CJ Uzama and, of course, Tyler Conklin, who I still believe gives us the best tight end room we've had in a very long time in green and white. And so the Jets should win this game. I mean, I've been saying it for the last few weeks now. This is playoff football. This is playoff football. But this is truly it. This is it. This is playoff football. If the Jets lose this game, the Jets are done for the season. At this point, there goes a winning season. There goes the playoffs. And then we really have to go ahead and take a look at whether or not this team has taken a big enough step. Now, I believe they have. A lot of people are going to say, no, it's a complete failure, but we doubled our win total from last year. We are playing meaningful football in January. It's going to be a January game, and that game matters. It matters. And to us as Jets fans that have been poverty stricken for so long, for experiences like this, I don't want that to get lost on us. Now I get it, you know what I'm saying? As the season progressed and the Jets progressed, so did our expectations, and there is nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying I find it hard to believe that we can look at what the Jets have accomplished and not feel like we've taken a step in the right direction. The New York Jets arguably got running back one, wide receiver one, edge rusher two, defensive back, cornerback one in one draft. Those are some really, really important pieces to a winning franchise. They also found Max Mitchell, who was at offensive tackle three based off of performance thus far this year, in the later rounds, right? This was a really, really good draft. And Clemens isn't a slouch either, right? So the season, in my opinion, is going in the route of having been a success. Now there's going to be question marks if why the month of December there was a complete collapse. We're going to have those conversations as the season comes to an end. But we're not going to talk about that because right now we're still in the fight. It's about to be January and we are still in the fight. So what are my predictions for this game? Well, I do believe Mike White is going to have a game. Every time the kid touches the ball, he's had a game. Now, whether or not he can go ahead and get into the end zone needs to be the major focus, right? Because we've seen him be able to drive the ball down the field. We've seen a couple of drop touchdown passes in the end zone. We've seen him miss a couple of throws as well. We've seen, Michael Carter fumbling the ball on a really good drive that could have put us in a position to score against the Buffalo Bills game. And we need to play clean football. I'm not even asking for perfect anymore. I don't think that's possible for this roster, this team to play perfect. We're seeing it more so from our veterans and our rookies, which is very surprising, but whatever, I digress. Right now, we're looking at a team with the second most Pro Bowlers in the NFL. Second most Pro Bowlers in the NFL is the New York Jets. So this isn't a scrub squad. These are guys who are being recognized for outperforming other position groups, within their field. And I think with that said, we should expect the New York Jets to win this game. Now, there was a comment made by, I guess, the defensive coordinator for the freaking Seattle Seahawks, mispronouncing not even mispronouncing, just completely being wrong about freaking the name of Garrett Wilson, calling him Chris Garrett. Now I watched that video a couple of times and I couldn't tell if this guy was being disrespectful or he was just unaware. But to me, that's kind of saying something, right? In terms of preparation, you're talking about the number one wide receiver for that team, the number one wide receiver in this rookie class, and you don't know his name. So I don't know if it was a shot. I don't know if it was sloppiness. I don't know if it was just disregard. Either way, if I'm the Jets, if I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm taking this personally. Garrett Wilson right now is on track this week. He's going to be the first 1,000-yard rookie wide receiver the Jets have ever had. Think about that. And he's doing so with 4 different quarterbacks that played for us this season. I can't help but wonder if we had a steady dose of a Mike White that played throughout the entire season, what Garrett Wilson's numbers would look like right now. I bet money the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks would know exactly what his name was if that was the case. But I digress. So Garrett Wilson's going to hit 1,000 yards this week. I think he's going to also add another touchdown to his already 4 touchdowns. I think we start seeing him pull away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, which is crazy to think because before him, the individual he's replacing as the favorite was Breece Hall, who played lights out football and was arguably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Week every week, and definitely the Offensive Rookie of the Year award based off of his production. It's insane to think of what could be next year. But the fact of the matter is the Jets are very much still in it this year. You see the Miami Dolphins starting to collapse a little bit. The Patriots have been horrible all season. They've only still beaten one team this year with an above 500 record, and that, of course, would be the New York Jets twice. They're not a very good franchise, not a very good team. I'm starting to hear the rumblings of maybe it's time to call it quits with Bill Belichick. But let's be honest, since Tom Brady has left, he's not been the coach that we all thought and feared for decades. Tom Brady was a big component as to why. So I think we're going to see a game from Mike White. We're going to definitely see a game from Garrett Wilson. We need to get this running game going some way, somehow. And I think the way we do that is by making them respect the pass. The last couple of weeks, they pretty much stacked the box and they showed no respect for the passing game. And why would they? We had Zach Wilson back there, and you saw the running game get no traction. I think that changes this Sunday. I think this Sunday running game gets going, and that's going to open up lanes for Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore. I think potentially you're going to see the best game of the season thus far for Mike White. And that's going to bring us to next week where, wow, a scenario of pure excitement for Jets fans. And I'm sure Dolphins fans as well, who might be a little more worried about that since, of course, unfortunately, Tua is hurt again. They might be more concerned about that matchup next week, but one game at a time. The New York Jets win this game. The New York Jets win this game. And the final score is going to be 27-10. I think that if Kenneth Walker does not play, they're going to struggle to get the running game going. And this offense needs the running game to operate in order for them to be successful. I believe we're able to match up well against their wide receivers, and our defensive line getting to Geno Smith is going to cause all kinds of frustration. And that's going to lead to defensive stops. I see a couple of turnovers, but I see the New York Jets offense being able to take advantage of that 26th ranked defense and have a day. And 27-10 is going to be the final score. New York Jets win. We now go into Hard Rock Stadium next week with full control of whether or not we go into the playoffs. I don't know about you. I'm excited. So that's it. That's it. I'm cut it there. New York Jets win. We're on track to go 9-7 on the season. And 9-8 on the season. And we wind up getting into the playoffs for the first time in 11 years come next week. But I digress. We'll jump into that next week whenever it's time for that video. But as always, go Jets. Really hoping these guys show up and they fight and we end this losing streak that we've been on. When the defense is this good, we shouldn't be losing so many games. I think Mike White changes that for us this week. So, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the channel. Yeah, go Jets. I'm going to be doing a show next week, all week in Dolphins versus Jets week, with the battered Jets fan and battered Dolphins fan. I'm sorry, bearded fanatic. And there's going to be a giveaway that we're going to be doing with our combined channels. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's it. I got to go edit this now and post it for y'all enjoyment.